So when Christ Yeshua achieved his resurrection, that is the absolute truth of Christ. With the help of Father was able to bring out the absolute truth of Christ and his true nature, that is his total surrender and total obedience to our Father. And Father said in the scriptures that Christ was chosen for his righteousness, like basically for being the best. And Father was right because Christ achieved his resurrection. He listened to everything Father said, and even while he was in the cross dying, he surrendered his body and everything to Father, and he died. So Father has that ability to bring out our absolute truth and our true nature. So don't doubt Father even when you are in the cross. So if we want to rapture and go to heaven, or go to heaven during the tribulation, achieve the eternal kingdom, all of these things that we understand the primordial field of Buddha, or to attain that bliss and peace within ourselves. So all of these things are achieved by going through the relative truth, which is Christ. So what Christ went through as a relative truth, he is a direct manifestation and a direct example of that. He performed his relative truth tantra and achieved his absolute truth, which is his resurrection. So we cannot expect anything supernatural to be naturally resurrected and healed, but we have to go through our own relative truth experience. So as a result of our personal relative truth experience, that we will go through what Christ went through, all the spiritual prosecution and all the cleansing that we will go through, all of that will result in our, let's say, our fate, basically where you're going to belong, in the lake of fire or in eternal peace with Father. So when you, during your redemption plan, and when you are experiencing the heavy nature of duality, which is basically the Christ field, which is the relative truth, and it can be quite heavy, it can be quite dense, and it will be mentally and physically very challenging to go through those spiritual prosecutions and to basically purge all darkness from within you. And if you can do that without complaining, then you will experience your own absolute truth. So to go to the Buddha field, to experience the primordial field, to rapture and go to heaven, or to ascend and go to heaven, all of those things you will need to pass in your relative truth experience. When you experience what Christ experienced and what Christ went through, you have to do all of that without complaining, by surrendering everything to Father, and letting him guide you through these incredible, difficult, dark times that you will go through during the tribulation. And the darkness will be specifically visible during the tribulation, and as everything will surface, because it is basically the end times. While we on this other end of the tribulation, we are doing the same thing. Because for us, the darkness has surfaced, and we interact with them, or I interact with them and deal with them in a tribulation fashion. So if you do your tribulation without complaining and just listen to Father and do all the things that he tells you, listen to Christ and follow the instruction and do everything, it will be a much easier, smoother, simpler journey for you. Because once you start resisting, you start complaining, then you will start repeating your mistakes again and again, and the process will just extend, and you'll just have to keep going back and correcting the same mistakes 10 times. And Father sees from all angles and all the ways that Satan is tricking you. You do not have the complete view. You do not have you do not see the ways of Satan and the ways he can trick you. You do not understand it. You do not have that perception. You are not playing at the level of Satan, but Father is. So Father can guide you properly through all of those extremely difficult places that you cannot perceive and you do not understand. So, Father is the absolute truth. His energy is that of a mirror. A mirror doesn't distinguish between good and evil, good and bad, beautiful or ugly. It just reflects exactly what it sees. And the mirror is not impressed. Like the mirror doesn't absorb the reflection. Whatever new things comes to the mirror, it simply reflects. And it's just there, sitting there and reflecting this entire 6,000 years that we are going through. Father is just sitting there and reflecting all of that. And we have to be grateful for this great ability that our Father has, and to be able to give correction to the entire planet and everything in it. So this concept of the mirror that reflects the absolute truth can be studied in Dzogchen Buddhism. So you can go into Dzogchen Buddhism and deeply understand what the mirror concept is and how it is explained by the great masters, and what they are saying and what they are experiencing with the Buddha, what they are personally experiencing with the mirror, and sharing their experience and telling others what the nature of the mirror is and what to do and how beautiful it is and how stunning it is. And at the end of the day, it interacts with you without interacting with you, because it doesn't discriminate good or bad. Even in your own nature, it doesn't discriminate. It will just give you the reflection of your true nature, and you can go in and correct it. And you can go in and be grateful, if you like, aspects of yourself. When you face the Buddha, the true mirror, your relative truth phase will manifest, which is what Christ went through. He took birth on this earth to perform his spiritual mission, and he went through his spiritual prosecution, death, and resurrection, and completed his spiritual journey and his spiritual mission. And so for every individual human being, when they face the Dzogchen mirror, when they face our Father in heaven, the Buddha, they will start their relative truth journey, the same thing as Christ went through. And we will have to deal with our own darkness, we will have to deal with our own duality, and we will have to play very smart. We have to be calm, gentle, we have to be obedient, we have to listen to instructions, and do the best we can to be the best version. So when you begin your relative truth journey, you have to be the best student. You have to be obedient, you have to be calm, you have to listen to instructions, and you have to be the best you can, and do not complain about any spiritual prosecution, any darkness, suffering, fear that you are facing. Do not complain about any of those. Do not whine, do not mourn. Just prayer, meditate, calm your body, calm your mind, learn the scriptures, and be the best student that you can. Let Father guide you, and do not ask questions that are not necessary. Why this, why that, why not today, why not tomorrow? Those things are going to make your journey very difficult. So be very calm, be easy to work with, cooperate, and realize that any negativity that you're going through is simply a reflection of your true self.